Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. This is episode number 125, and I am one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay. As usual, here with my handsome friend, my hatted friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, bud?
Better than you, by the sounds of it. What's going on with you? Have you got the lodgy again?
Yeah, I'm ill again.
Boo.
How do these things happen? I've also noticed that the camera should probably be pointing at your handsome face a little bit more.
He's so kind, isn't he? Such a big sweetheart. So you are.
I just can't. I can't catch a break, mate.
No, you can't. Why the fuck am I here? Why am I not doing this remote?
I mean, I'm not that ill.
No, but I don't want to be ill at all.
Sure, I'm fine.
Yeah, I won't be. I wish you'd told me you were ill before I came here.
I'm not ill. I'm getting over it.
I gave you an open mouth kiss before you even said, by the way, I've got the cold. You fucking wrongin.
Yeah, I know. I guess that was a bad one on my part. Yeah. So
how's the B&B going to run now?
Aside from illness, I mean, come on, who has luck like this? COVID, and then, as everybody, will be aware from listening to the podcast, my cough hasn't gone away for the last few episodes, and then my cough turned into a sore throat and a runny nose, and just a typical kind of run-of-the-mill cold. But I'm okay. It hasn't taken any wind out of my sails. I've still been doing my thing, so that's good. How have you been? Anything interesting happening in your life?
Same shit, different shovel. If I'm totally honest, came out the house this morning to a flat tire.
Yeah,
lucky me. Luckily, I seemed to buy a lot of shitty, unnecessary spares that worked out in my favour today. So I had one of those spray sealant cans. And sprayed it in the driveway, and I went from having a flat tyre to a tyre that was the right shape. Went and added some air into it, and that should hopefully do me for now, till I get a replacement. I was needing new tyres anyway, but that's what I get for driving like a loon. So I need new tyres, I need my suspension looked at, because I'm pretty sure the bushings have went, so I'm going to get that poly bushed. I've got all the stuff there for a service, but it's not been done yet. What else? One of my parking sensors isn't working. Outside of that, the car runs great, but those are like the wee things that I should really get my finger out about.
Yeah.
My mileage counter is nearly at 169,420. So if I can get 69,420 on camera, I'll be happy.
169. My car's not even hit 90,000 yet, so
weak.
I know. I'll get there one day.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
I do. My week has been filled with
coughing,
yeah. PAs.
Yes.
So here's
not personal assistants.
No. Here's a story for you. So doing a gig with Melissa on the Monday night, riding room residency, and our usual sound man Ian wasn't in, and his trainee was in. I say his trainee, the trainee that the bar had given him to train, because Ian, as a heading towards middle-aged man, doesn't want to be spending 5 nights a week out until midnight when he's got a kid at home, and it's just a side gig for him, because he's a successful sound man during the day for bands and Tory type things. So doesn't need to be doing this. It was just helping a friend out. So I don't know where the bar found this ruffian. Let's go with ruffian.
Okay.
It's one of the drag performers, I believe, that works in the bar, who also said I can do sound. I don't know. Anyway, incompetent motherfucker.
Right.
Like, had no idea how to set up Melissa's in-ear monitors, screaming feedback while trying to get the sound together. People were leaving the bar. It was that bad. Sound was just dreadful. Not being able to get the in-ear monitors to work, as I say, hissing feedback through the monitors while he was trying to work them out. He was just trying everything, just plugging it into every single little thing he possibly could. And clearly just had no idea how to route sound or anything like this. And after this, like, Melissa was so fucking angry, because as I don't know if I said on the podcast before, but Melissa's basically deaf in one ear, so the in-ear monitors have become really integral to her being able to do her job, being able to actually hear what's going on. So she did the gig without the monitors, and I thought it was fine, but she's working harder than she
It's more about comfort, isn't it?
Yeah. So
it's not about ability.
So I've essentially, she said never again, like never again are you doing my sound. Never again. It's not happening. And the response was kind of, well, that's all we've got. And she's like, I will bring someone. You tell me what the budget is for the sound man for the set, and I will find someone. I'll bring someone. And I'm like, I'll do it.
Good.
How hard can it be?
Good luck.
Yeah, how hard can it be?
Good luck. Have you had a chance to set up and like have a fiddle with it and troubleshoot, etc.?
Well, I bought a PA. I mean, the venue has an in-house PA anyway, so it's not like I'm having to drag that down to it or anything.
No, of course. I mean, more so just having like a run it. You're having your PA system set up, the desk, and getting a feel for fucking about. Yeah,
I've done that, and
you've probably done that before. Actually, it's quite ignorant of me to assume that you've
rehearsals
never
and
fucked away like a sound desk.
But I spent a bunch of time this week kind of watching a lot of really interesting tutorial videos on the subject.
How to get voices to come through without them being shrill or bassy. And
there's a really great video actually from Adam Savage of Mythbusters. And he goes into the sound room for Hamilton, the musical. And the guy from Hamilton is talking him through how they do things, and of course they're dealing with 30 microphones plus a band and all that,
and a lot of it's like on stage microphones as well, not necessarily. Well, they're all directional, are they not?
They're all taped to the.
Oh, are they actually wearing mics? Okay, sorry.
So
right, okay.
In theatre, they're all wearing mics.
I would have thought because a lot of them it's just like directional mics on the stage.
Nah.
Sorry, when you go.
And so this is a nightmarish gig. I'm like anything. For these gigs, riding with Melissa, I've got to do piano and voice. Easy. This guy, all of this stuff, right? And he's got a script in front of him while the show's on, with numbers on it and numbers associated with each person. And he's literally if somebody's not singing, no volume, what unnecessary. So he shows you him following the script, and he's just jumping around like this, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And I'm like, that is a stressful gig. That is.
Why does it not just get an automated gate?
An automated.
All you would need to do is set it with a decent threshold.
Sure.
Dead easy. Because I don't want bleed between the mics in case it cuts past the threshold. That's what it'll be.
Yeah,
At the same time.
Nah. It's the sort of thing where, when I watched it, I was like, that's an incredible task to put on someone, where I would imagine, much like yourself, I would go, there must be an easier way of doing this.
Of course there is.
Because asking someone to do that is ridiculous. But humans are capable of some pretty incredible things.
I would think the reason for the human touch is, like all things that become to live art, it's unpredictable. Something can go wrong. Yeah. So if you had it automated and somebody was late with a line, then it'd be fucked.
Yeah. So,
but fuck that.
Interesting to watch. So, that's me learning all about having to do live sound. And it just works out better this way, doesn't it? Because now we'll just consistently have the same sound. My shitty sound.
Have you had fun fucking with identifying and removing feedback?
Yes. But
finding those wee bell I mean, you've EQ'd guitars, you know what you're doing, but
yeah, and I use
it's much harder live because you don't have a full graphic EQ all the time in the world.
There's a great website called Sound Gym that I've used for quite a while. That is it's a series of audio games where they will give you. I think there's 12, maybe 14 games that they have on there, but the one that I really like is picking out EQ humps and things. So they'll give you a signal. And then they'll give you another signal where there's a slight hump in the EQ somewhere,
so
and you
really
need to be able to identify where that is.
That sounds like ear training.
Yeah, ear training for
really cool
production and mixing.
That sounds great.
Yeah, great website.
I think I think you'll have fun with that then.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good.
I'm not all that worried. Can't be worse than the incompetent fuck we had last week.
That's true. The other thing you could do, depending on how much you're investing in having your own system. Some of the desks come with the input for the microphones, so the little mic you've got for in here, for measuring the room. You know the one you set up for your, was it Soundworks it's called?
Yeah, the Sonarworks.
Sonarworks. Yeah. So you'll have the microphone anyway, but you basically put that in the centre of the venue, run it to the desk, and the desk itself will profile the room and EQ it perfectly.
I wish I knew this before I spent £1,100 on a PA.
But you can always, it's modular, you can always get another desk.
Right, okay.
And it's usually the more expensive ones. The ones that I've seen do it are usually the Allen and Heath.
Yeah.
Like a QU18 or something up that range.
Yeah.
However, you do know that for future now. And the thing that kind of gets me is if you're playing the same venues often and you're taking your own desk with you often, you just really need to go plunk, right, cool, that's the room read, and save it as a scene.
Sure.
And every time you play that venue, you just go, click, that's the room EQ'd.
That's cool.
It's clever, innit?
Yeah, that's actually really cool. So nice.
Not just a pretty face, you know.
So now we're set up for we've got Girdwood's when is that on the 1st?
Nice.
PA for that, and she's got a bunch of cabaret things coming up over Christmas, which are really well paid but don't have a PA. So, sorted. We've got all these things sorted.
It's a great investment because whether you need it or not, you're better having it and not needing it than needing it and not having it. I feel as if I've been saying that saying for the last couple of weeks almost every day.
Yeah. And of course, now I can do silly things like parties. So if anyone out there wants a party booking, get in touch.
Don't get in touch with him. He's a bad man.
So I think that's us. I think I can do the. Do you want to do it? Do you want to go on? You do it.
Did you know?
This show is brought to you by our friends over at Ormsby Guitars. We want to remind you guys that there is still time to get involved in the upcoming Run 16 guitars. Those include these incredible hypes available in 5 new colours. That Dragon Burst is absolutely stunning. You can also get your hands on one of the Metal X's, again available in a range of finishes. My personal pick has to be these headless Vs, absolutely outrageously cool. Imagine one of those in an 8-string, I absolutely love these. And finally, the Ando San signature model, available in 6, 7 and 8-string availability. Go and check them out at Ormsby's website right now. This show is also brought to you by our friends over at Rev Amplification, a one-stop shop for all of your tonal needs. Head on over to their website to check out their range of lunchbox amplifiers, both the D20 and G20, 20-watt amplifiers with built-in 2-notes torpedo technology so you can record direct into your computer. If that doesn't suit, you can also check out one of their highly popular G2, 3 and 4 pedals, giving you that trademark Rev tone in a stomp box. Incredible tones, I use these myself. And finally, you may notice in the back of these videos a Rev Generator 120, an absolute masterclass in modern electric guitar tones. Check it out at their site now.
So, as always, a huge thanks to our friends and family over at both Ormsby Guitars and Rev Amplification. I'm looking around for a V-pick. Oh, there's one.
I've got one in my pocket.
Of course there's one.
Hold on. I'll join you.
Are we Dimension 3.0?
Mm-hmm. That was very kindly sent.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. It's the most beautiful plectrum, man. I don't know, there's even if I don't play them that often, which I actually do, but even if I didn't, I'd keep them about because see that kind of gold sparkle and the almost see-through blue in them,
Sure.
man. Nobody can see it, but fuck yous. I can see it.
Nice. So we've got a few things to talk about today. I think we've got 6 things set up.
But before we go any further, get some more fan mail into us. Come on.
Yeah, nobody's
Please.
sent us fan mail in a while. Maybe it's just the end of the show. Maybe
Don't be so fucking dark.
No. I'm just people rely on the show. People want to watch the show, etc.
And you're signifying the end of days.
I'm just letting everybody know that unless you contribute more, maybe we convince ourselves that there's no show, or maybe we get depressed and stop doing the show. Send us some fucking fan mail.
It's getting a bit dark here, isn't it? That's not going to happen, don't worry.
To be fair, we would continue doing the show if one person turned up every week to watch it. So,
but we've been doing it since before we get any sort of crowd interaction or feedback or content sent to us, so long may it continue.
Yeah, so fan mail is great because it enables you guys to be a little bit more of part of the show. Though saying that, probably worth pointing out that, still really, really, really appreciate all of the contributions that we get sent via Discord and the stuff that we get sent via Twitter. Chris Smart is constantly tweeting me on Twitter with news stories and things that are worth talking about. So that is valuable too. So thank you very much. That does really it helps us to not miss things that are quite important.
Yes.
But also enables us to talk about things that you guys are interested in. And I should probably say, there are a bunch of stories this week that people would expect us to talk about. You got Marilyn Manson and the having some of his sexual assault allegations dropped, and you got Dave Mustaine.
His ribs.
Yeah. You've got Dave Mustaine being kind of anti-mask and stuff like that. And these
Shocker.
these are all just not really guitar related. So it just feels really gossipy. So I don't know. It just doesn't really seem all that relevant. Same with who was it? Josh Homme. Queens of the Stone Age, and he's restraining orders from his family.
It's constant with him now, isn't it? It's no constant with him now, it's just constant all the time, but...
Yeah. So we're trying to focus on guitar-y stuff, not just gossip that relates to someone who happens to play a guitar. I'm looking at our stories now going, shit, is there anything in there that's gossipy? Let's start by talking about John 5.
What's wrong with us being gossipy? It's not as if it changes from us normally, you know what I mean? It's just a different focal point, really, I suppose. Yes, John 5 announces a new album and releases a single featuring Dave Mustaine. Can I just say before we go any further, it's a shame we listened to it.
Yes.
Like, we could have done a reaction video to us listening to it, I think. The best part of the song was the start of the music video where he drives up in a kind of, I don't even know, baby blue, almost seafoam green Lamborghini Urus.
And that was, of course, before the music started.
Which made it even better.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the music starts and it's like John 5 and Dave Mustaine decided to start a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band and write songs in the vein of.
Yeah.
And John 5's tone's no great.
Yeah.
The riff is boring at best.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing that popped into my head when I heard it. It was listening to that riff and going, Jesus, in 2021, that you wrote that and went, yep, that's good enough. Like, it sounds like the sort of riff that every guitar, well, certainly guitar players of our generation, the sorts of things that we were writing when we were 13 and 14 years old, you know, and just so uninspired. I can't recommend the single. I can't recommend the single. I didn't think it was very good, and that makes me sad because, you know, I do love John 5. Big fan of John 5. Have desperately been trying to reach out for an interview, but I couldn't get on board with the new single, which is a shame. It's got his trademark, you know. Some people get really offended when I say this, but it's accurate. Sloppy shredding is how I describe John.
With horrendous tone.
Yeah.
The least focused, clear tone I've heard of many.
Which helps when your picking runs are really just you sort of tremolo picking and hoping for the best with the left hand. Now, that's not necessarily a criticism, because that's his sound, like that's his vibe. It's trademark, you know. When he plays, his playing is recognisable, and that to me is more valuable than being a very meticulously practiced picker who picks 6 notes per click and does it with blistering accuracy. I'm not going to say that stuff's boring. It's impressive, but fuck it, I'm going to say it's boring. Everyone does it and they do it so well.
Sorry, I'm being ignorant. I've got a couple of wee business things going on. You know me.
That's you, mate.
Hustling.
I'm going to reach out to everybody in the show and say, guys,
send Mike money, thanks.
As of next episode, right, set a little stopwatch, and anytime Mike's on his phone, just start your stopwatch out and just see how much over the course of the show Mike isn't really here.
Dock my wages. That's fair. That's fair.
Our big fat zeros. Oh, actually, on the note of wages, I mean, it's not really wages related, but bonus episode. We're recording after this, listening to Megadeth's Rust in Peace. So head on over to Buy Me a Coffee, link in the description. And Mike's going to play most of the album.
No, I'm just going to try and play most of the album.
Sure. It'll be fun.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't really listened to Rust in Peace in a wee while, but the only song on the album that I have distinctly not tried to learn, or that I tried to learn and failed very quickly, was Lucretia.
Yeah.
So that's one I'm probably going to set out.
Oh.
We'll wait and see.
It'll be fun. Right, let's go through this story.
Yes, sorry. John 5 has announced that he'll release a new album, Sinner, on Friday, October 29th, via Big Machine Records. With the news comes the album's first single, Que Pasa, which you can check out via the music video below. Don't do it. Features Dave Mustaine yelling Que Pasa, people, Que Pasa, over and over again. I assume Mustaine pissed off John 5 somehow, and this is John 5 getting back at him. Good writing for Metal Sucks. Check out the song via the music video. Pre-orders for Sinner are available online. The album also features a guest appearance by Carla Harvey from Butcher Babies and a cover of Georgia on My Mind, featuring former Kiss drummer Peter Criss, who is from Brooklyn.
What
the fuck has that got to do with it?
Oh, I mean, I guess because the song is Georgia on My Mind is about the state of Georgia.
But at the same time, like, we'll get somebody that's from Brooklyn to be on Georgia from My Mind. Like, why would you even dare cover it? Anyway,
well, it's a great song.
Of course it is, but John 5?
Well, I mean, when I look at this track list, and it's got How High the Moon on there, which is an old jazz standard. So
Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yeah. I'll check it out. Fingers crossed it's not as bad as this first single. Definitely interested in seeing how Georgia on My Mind comes out. But if you're interested in John 5, if you like John 5's playing, check it out. If you don't, maybe don't.
Yes. I do like John 5, but that single has it's Hurt My Brain.
So let's laugh.
Did we not talk about this already?
We did,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's a thing.
No, it's a real thing.
Now it's a real
It's
thing.
a full real thing. Cool.
Andertons Extra.
Support our music shop by paying money to get demos of music equipment that you might buy from us.
Now, to be fair to them, now they've launched Andertons Extra. I'll bring it up for people so they can see it. I know they've launched Andertons extra content, extra deals, and fewer distractions. So essentially, I feel that you're really just paying for extra content, so stuff to watch, extra adverts, extra deals, so extra opportunities to spend more money, and then fewer distractions. So
You'll be the first on the mailing list to say we're getting rid of this shite.
Yeah.
Do you want it cheaper?
yeah,
Okay. Right.
fewer distractions, so no ads. So you're paying to remove ads on
Just bring back
videos
chappers.
which are primarily adverts.
I'll pay you £2.99 a month if you bring back chappers and lock them in a cage and just stream that 24/7.
Well, cattle prodding.
Aye.
Fantastic. This extra deals thing is kind of not a bit nonsensy because I bought all of my PA gear off of Gear for Music,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got an email saying your account has been upgraded to VIP Gold because of you spend a lot of money with us. This gives you extra discounts on products, and then a day later they upgraded it again to VIP Platinum, and I was like, "Fucking Platinum! That's fucking." This could be good. Could save a lot of money on stuff here.
And you looked at your discount.
I went and looked at a £450 guitar and I got £7 off it.
Aye, what did you expect?
Yes. So
It's all you're up there, buddy.
yeah. I was going to say I'm not paying for the privilege of that, but I have paid for the privilege of that. Whereas this, it's like an ongoing, unless you're getting a bunch of discounts, it's probably not.
They could actually really monopolise on this, right? So laughing and joking about keeping trappers in a cage, right? See if they do a series where they basically pick the best guitars to prod them with a headstock through the cage, which has got the sharpest and more offensive, then I would view that. I'd tune in every couple of hours to see who was scalping them with a fucking Ibanez headstock. Bush.
So the only thing that I guess might be interesting to people is the exclusive Play Like series. Learn how to play like your favourite guitarist in our brand new series, Play Like, exclusive to extra subscribers.
Not being rude, but that's really a stolen concept from
Everybody.
exactly
Yeah.
like everybody actually. Like even looking back at Total Guitar.
Yeah. Who do you want to learn to play like? Go on YouTube, type in Play Like, and then the name of that person.
Mm-hmm. If there's not a DVD, there's going to be somebody doing an interpretation or tabs, ideas of what the licks will be to give you that kind of sound, maybe even tone ideas.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, like I totally respect Lee Anderton and
Cool new concept.
kind of
No.
trying to push boundaries and be a business. God.
Free UK deliveries. Don't know how much that adds to the value of paying your £2.99 a month, but if you buy a lot from Andertons, maybe that's the extra value. It's a bit like having a Prime account.
Yeah, I think their postage is normally like a £5. And you get free delivery on orders over £20 to the majority of UK addresses. Yeah, fine. I'm not going to throw too much shade at them. They're trying different things and trying to make their business, I don't want to say viable, because their business is viable anyway, but they're trying to squeeze a little bit extra out of it, and nothing inherently wrong with that, but I don't know. I don't think this has been all that well received by the community.
No.
But then, of course, it could just be a very vocal minority.
Possibly like us. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I can see this being a bit of a nightmare for musicians in general, because if we are moving from media going from selling items to being a subscription service, and we're now getting it where certain things like actual sales, business to consumer sales, are going to then be a subscription service, where does it end? Does that mean that people who aren't signed up to your special service don't get to buy certain items? Everybody's moving toward this service subscription based business model, and without being too negative, I'm kind of concerned that that's probably going to run into, like, you buy a brand guitar, and if you don't use a certain brand amp, you're only allowed to use it 3 fucking hours a day or something. Like, hopefully it doesn't become some crazy dystopian fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it is totally inevitable.
It is.
That we head towards this level of greed.
Yes.
Until it all collapses, and it will all collapse, because you can't. The consumer only has X amount of money that they can spend on whatever it happens to be, every month, every year, or whatever, however you want to spread that out. And when too many people are asking for that little bit per month, and look, I totally accept, like, I'm in this category because of my Patreon. And it's why I took such issue with guys like Steve Vai coming to Patreon, the multi-millionaire. Doesn't need to be on fucking Patreon. Doesn't need the money. And by being on Patreon, what is he? He will essentially be taking money out of the pockets of content creators that probably do need Patreon in order to make ends meet. Now, it's not his responsibility to give a shit about that, but why has that happened? Well, that has happened because the average person that is a Patreon user and gives money to content creators on Patreon, they're not just going to keep adding and adding and adding more and more people to the list of people that they're giving money to because they can't afford it. It's the old Sky TV thing back in the the hellish days of our youth, where our parents were probably paying 60, 70 quid a month for ridiculous Sky packages, hundreds and hundreds of channels with nothing to watch.
Fucking joke's on you. My dad worked for Virgin Media, which was, in fact, it was NTL at the time. Then it went from being NTL to Blue Yonder. Then it was Telewest. And fucking God knows how many other iterations. But just to answer your point, you picked the wrong one for me because we used to get like either family packages or my dad would have like a test box we could try.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
They were just so expensive. And then when Netflix came in, it just changed the game for everybody. And
even
Amazon
back
Prime
when it was
Video and
the DVD postal service, it was a bit of a game changer.
Yeah. And now you've got so many, HBO Go and Disney Plus and Amazon Prime Video and Netflix, and I saw Broadway HD has been advertising to me. Just Broadway shows. They've got their own streaming website. And before you know it, we're in a worse situation than we were 10, 20 years ago, where, in order to be able to get all the content that you want, you're now going to be paying £100 a month, and it's not sustainable. So,
Nope.
Well done, Lee, for getting in there, and I do hope it goes well for you. Like, ultimately, I can't complain about someone offering a service. He's not twisting anyone's arm. He's not forcing anyone, and this could be really popular or it could not be popular.
And I
won't know until you try.
I agree with you. Like, best of luck to the guy. I've never had anything bad to say about Lee, despite having chappers on the channel for forever.
Yeah.
That can't hold that against that guy, and certainly can't hold that against him for trying to do something that shows good business acumen. Yeah. I just think it's maybe, I'm concerned it becomes a dystopian nightmare at one point.
Yeah.
But that's just a weird personal concern I've got.
Okay. Let's talk about Jackson and Chris Broderick.
I've not even read this story. So Jackson and Chris Broderick put a fun signature twist on the Pro Series Soloist.
Is Chris doing anything now?
I have no idea. Probably living off the fact that it was in Megadeth.
Yeah.
Broderick's Soloist available with 6 or 7 strings, hardtail or Floyd, but built to shred and is equipped with a kill switch. Oh my god. Never heard of them before. Jackson has unveiled a series of signature Pro Series Soloists for Chris Broderick that built on the model's reputation as the ultimate in high-performance electric guitars. It's the first I've heard of this reputation. Pardon me.
Oh, I think that's maybe a little bit unfair. Their custom shop stuff is great.
Oh, I'm not like knocking
in that sense.
I'm not knocking Jackson at all, but sure. I've never heard anybody say Jackson is the best brand at all for high-end performance electric guitars. Never mind them saying that about the Signature Pro Series for Chris Broderick. Maybe just a wee step too far into the hyperbole in their part. When we think of the Jackson Soloist, we think of the sharpened S-style body shape, the neck-through build, speedy neck and pickups, typically a dual humbucker setup that could take the paint off the wall. Well, with these fresh for 2021 Broderick signature guitars, we've got that and more. If 7-string guitars are your bag, you're in luck. Jackson is offering the Chris Broderick Soloist in 6 or 7-string versions with a choice of hardtail or Floyd Rose Special double-locking tremolo systems. There are signature DiMarzio Chris Broderick pickups in the neck and bridge, which are humbuckers, 3-way pickup selector volume and tone knobs with push-pull coil splits, and a little bit of fun courtesy of a kill switch. No ugly.
So did you say not ugly?
Not my cup of, but not ugly.
Yeah, I don't like these at all.
I'm not big in the shape. The top's nice, the paint's nice. No inlays and black hardware. I could get on board with. The back looks really nice. I like that jack placement. Did you notice the jack placement?
Did not. Oh, okay.
Next to the horn, Strat style. See a lot of guitar manufacturers going by that, trying to keep it kind of discreet and ergonomic
I
these
mean,
days.
Yeah, this does make sense. Plug it in there, it goes around your strap.
And that's out the
Though
road.
saying that strap pin is very, very, very high.
I would imagine the reason being, if you've ever seen Chris Broderick play that model, the way that it's offset, it's almost like he sits classical
Right.
style. So when the neck's pointing upwards where it should be, then the shape flows better.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That sounds like a bit of a convoluted way to explain it, but Broderick Soloist has a reverse AT1 3x3 headstock, graphite reinforced maple neck, mahogany body, totally cosmic poplar and a totally cosmic poplar burl top on the transparent blue model, plain mahogany on the gloss black models. Fucking hell, man. Tongue twister for a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, we can stop there.
Yeah, I was going to say 799 quid
I don't fully understand it. And, you know...
I think that looks like the Dan Donegan Washburn. Do you remember the Dan Donegan shape?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fair. I didn't get Chris Broderick when he was in Megadeth. And now he's no longer in Megadeth. I don't get it. It's like,
I think
where is your star power?
I think the big thing is that he is well known from before Megadeth, just for kind of just being like one of the first kind of real 7-string players that was like just shredding all the time, as far as I know, and then pops up into Megadeth and he can play all the other solos, maybe not to the same standard as the other players, but I mean he was there, pulling off Marty Friedman licks and whatever else. The only criticism I can make of Chris when I saw him live was he played a bit faster and a bit less in the pocket than, like, you know how Marty's very much a kind of feel kind of guy, and it's not just a case of mindless shredding. There's like a kind of like a tempo to it, like a certain pulse, the way he plays, and it's like it's a counter melody rather than just wanking over the top of music.
Sure.
A lot of the time, even when it is fast for Marty stuff, I found that Chris kind of rushed ahead with a lot of the licks. It was more like a look, I can do it, than a doing it right kind of thing. And then that fucking Betcha Can't Play This video where he does the tap arpeggios.
It's just, nah.
It leans enough into the, flashy, I think.
Let me see if he's actually doing anything now.
I don't think he really is, to be honest.
Of course, not that means anything
No,
in
of course
2021.
not.
You know, Rick Graham hasn't put out any music in the best part of a decade. Probably
need to.
over a decade.
Oh, fuck, he's in Flames.
Is he?
A live member of In Flames, supposedly. Aye. And he was in Nevermore
Lead guitarist for Act of Defiance, which he formed.
with Sean Drover. Supergroup. Okay.
Yeah, all right, okay, fair enough.
Who else is in it? I don't know who Henry Derrick is. I know Chris Broderick. Matt Batchin. I don't know him. I know Sean Drover.
Scarlet Martyr,
No Mac Upper.
and
Shawnee Boy.
Shadows Fall.
Right.
Yeah.
Supergroup's maybe a bit of reach, but okay.
Yeah. So I mean, he is doing things. So okay, fine.
Aye.
But yeah, no, the guitars aren't for me. But I thought I'd bring them up because, well, is it an opportunity for me to bitch about, or not bitch about, but just to restate how I don't really dig Chris Broderick's playing?
I mean, fair enough, right? If that's the opportunity you want to take. I think the opportunity I would take is Music Radar. Putting a kill switch on a guitar is not a fun signature twist. It's a common thing that lots of people have done over the years and lots of guitars have come with.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Buckethead's guitar is a fun signature twist when it's got because it's the arcade button and it leans into being like the only part of the guitar that isn't like white. But a kill switch on a random guitar does not make it a cool signature in my mind. Anyway, fuck you guys. So moving on to Noisy, which is an off-brand of Vice. If anybody knows of the underground journalism, we'll give it the
I like Vice's stuff.
inverted. I quite like it, but it's also very fucking.
Some of it gets very dark
But
and really like. Well, I don't want to say why are you covering this. That's the best reason to cover something because
Aye.
nobody else is covering this.
which is fair, right? I don't know. Sometimes there's really stupid clickbaity titles. Anyway, the vinyl boom is pushing out smaller labels. Pressing plants can't keep up with unprecedented demand, and the big box chains. Sorry, you need to scroll up a wee bit. Sorry, and big box chains are selling LPs now, resulting in devastating delays. So vinyl is more popular than ever. Surprisingly, that is a problem.
I
can believe it.
I find this so strange because I don't see it.
You might not see it, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. There's lots of bands out there who are selling vinyl as like a limited edition thing or as an investment, and lots of people out there that are going and buying it and investing in like good decks and nice valve amps and good ADATs and preamps and whatever else. Or DACs, not an ADAT, sorry.
I just can't think that there's enough people doing that. And the reason I say this is because, sure, I know a couple of people that are into their vinyl. And to be fair, the only merch that Melissa really has now is vinyl copies of Devil's Luck. But just from speaking to people on gigs at merch tables, the amount of people that are like, I've got no way to play vinyl, have you got CDs? It's just, that's what people are saying.
I agree with you. I've no doubt at all that this is some sort of weird trend, flash in the pan thing, and that it's going to be very much a minority. But when the demand as a minority goes up so much, and there is literally no architecture to build or to make what the supply is asking for, then absolutely demand's going to go higher than supply can. I mean, I don't want to say that it's a dead medium, but let's be totally honest, vinyl is a good few steps behind where we're at. We had vinyl, then cassette, then CD, mini disc, MP3, and now everyone's pretty much just fucking digital. So you're 6-7 steps away from
several generations.
Exactly. And I don't want to say it's a dead medium, because it's not. People still use it. But in terms of reliability, portability, quality, ease of access, ease of use when it comes to actually like buying the equipment, the peripherals for it, it's miles away.
I need to do a rant. In fact, I might end up doing a Rage Time video on this, right? Guys, there'll be a bunch of people that are in the comments now that will be annoyed about the fact that we're well, you're not really trashing vinyl, but I'm going to trash vinyl, okay? I'm going to trash vinyl. Look, I get it. For most of you out there that love vinyl, the reason you love vinyl is because of the nostalgia associated with it. You grew up with vinyl and it means a lot to you. And there are some aspects of vinyl that I can get on board with. Having a nice big piece of artwork so you can really look and enjoy the artwork. Nice gatefold sleeve, loads of liner notes and shit like that. That's really, really cool. I will give you that. But can we stop pretending that vinyl is the best way to listen to music, that it sounds the best, right? Stop talking to me about all these clicks and pops on the recording that just has that authentic feel, right? It fucks me right off. And the reason it fucks me right off is because that's not what the music sounded like in the fucking room when it was being recorded. So you're not getting a good representation of what the band sounded like. You might have all these pops, clicks and artifacts that you associate with vinyl, right? But that's one of the drawbacks of the medium, right? Back in the day when wax cylinders and then vinyl, if they could have done those vinyl recordings and not fucking had that, they wouldn't have fucking had it. So stop telling me it's a selling point. It's not a selling point. Putting shitty artifacts all over your music doesn't make the music better. Is that reasonably fair?
I would say so. I think the other way to look at it, but just emboldening what you're saying, is that any studio tries its best to remove the noise floor. They want a clear and open recording with nothing that's sitting there that could cause phasing issues or like a tone or a harmonic over the music that doesn't need to be there, which you could potentially get from any sort of mechanical interference. You listen to recordings these days and the majority of them sound like they were done in a proper isolated room. They're almost clinical. All the noise is cut out on whatever DAW you're using. I don't imagine there's many people out there who are using tape reel or anything like that at all anymore. And if they are, they know what they're doing and they've got the right engineers. For example, Foo Fighters, when they had Butch Vig in doing Wasting Light. Tremendous sounding album because it's a medium that's been used by people who know what they're doing and it's people who have used the stuff. But I think it's pretty bizarre. It's bizarre that people want to lean in so heavily to... Actually, no, it doesn't surprise me, because it's the same as people talking about like IPAs and all the rest of it. No, just try it, bro. It's got a nicer haze, bro. You'll love this one, bro. Just give it one sip. what's the intensity and the severity, the need for you to be number one, or like the number one fan of something, like I introduced this to market or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't. Because you didn't. But again, doesn't matter. It's like hipster points, I think, is probably a big part of the vinyl love. And don't get me wrong, I've listened to a couple albums on vinyl that I thought sounded great. Like death metal albums, surprisingly sound really good. But it doesn't take away from the fact that what you're saying, obviously, you still get hisses and pops and bumps and artifacts and noise and...
Yeah. When the band went into the studio, well, it's not strictly true now, because bands probably go into the studio looking for that. They do want that. They've got the vision of where we're going to put out on vinyl, and then we've got this association in our mind of what vinyl sounds like. So, we're looking forward to getting that sound. But when vinyl recordings first surfaced as an option, as a way to record music, that was very much a downside. That was just...
I think the way I see it, it's like a preference. If you imagine it like lighting, right? I think that digital file stuff that's been recorded modern is like cool white, very bright, whereas vinyl's like warm white. It's got that kind of bit of colour to it.
Sure.
Just a wee bit softer.
Right.
Maybe, and do you know what I mean by that?
But we could simulate all of that on a digital recording.
100%. Yeah. Like, you could easily EQ what you wanted from it, cut a lot of the high end out, don't quite as heavily compress, however you would get that to make it sound like a vinyl.
Put clicks and pops in the recording. Or you could have a digital music player, a vinyl music player, if you like, a digital vinyl player that randomly inserted clicks and pops and things.
A DAC, digital audio codec.
Yeah.
Or like a digital audio converter.
So I can't get on board with the vinyl thing. And
here's what I'm going to throw a span on the works. What about limited edition vinyls that are cool as fuck to look at?
To me, that's no different than a limited edition art print, with the additional benefit of, you can listen to this.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of that drive as well. I've not even read the article yet.
Yeah.
Frontierer, good friends of the show, their merch is ridiculous, and they've just released, I don't know if the new album's out yet, if it's just a single, but they've been doing like basically just batches of these vinyls, and they go within minutes, to the point where I think they've done 4 or 5 just because of the demand. Like, they did them thinking, limited edition, this will be the last ones that will go out. Boom, they're gone. Right, what about another 100? Boom, there they're gone. It might even be bigger numbers than that, but again, just demonstrates what we're talking about with the supply and demand. Like, they're buying them obviously in small runs, not thinking they're going to sell much, and then they're away.
Okay, so let's take a look at this article.
2021 has been a stressful year for Jody Whelan, who runs a small Nashville-based label Oh Boy Records, which his father, the late John Prine, started 40 years ago. In February, Whelan asked a pressing plant for a repress of 1,000 vinyl records for one of their newer artists. Normally, a repress takes just a couple of months, but the plant told him it would be a year, an unfeasibly long delay. We started to get a little worried, said Whelan. We're having a hard time keeping things in stock. We're making tough choices between what we send to record stores and what we keep in our own online store. We're going to smaller plants and having to spend more per unit. Whelan said that now Oh Boy Records is using at least 9 different pressing plants to make sure the product gets delivered on time, which is fucking quite a lot. Vinyl delays are currently plaguing the entire industry. Plaguing? Is that an artificial demand? Who knows? During the pandemic, vinyl exploded, growing 28.7% in 2020, according to the Record Industry Association of America.
I'm going to say, is that...
You okay?
Yeah. I'm going to say, is that because, the demand for vinyl has gone up, or is that because of during the pandemic, we were in lockdowns, and therefore people had a lot more disposable income because they weren't going out to restaurants and pubs and, doing all the things they were normally doing. So they have this excess money and they want to spend it somewhere. The amount of people that have done home renovations and house improvements, all those types of things, in the last 2 years is insane, absolutely insane, because people have the money for it. So is this 28.7%, is this a long-term thing? Is this something that lasts? I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I know what you mean. It seems very like a bubble, like crypto. in a sense. So vinyl delays are currently plaguing the entire industry. During the pandemic, vinyl exploded, growing 28.7% in 2020, according to the RIAA. While vinyl has been on an upward trajectory since the mid-aughts, 2020 marked the first time vinyl beat out CDs in total revenues since the 1980s. Because it's fucking far more expensive. Don't try and make it like it's because there's a higher demand. Though there were issues with the supply chain even before the pandemic, the reality is that the entire industry cannot keep up with skyrocketing demand, especially with COVID-related constraints. Due to the pandemic, music fans have spent money on turntables instead of concert tickets. Some factories couldn't maintain their production capacity due to social distancing measures and labour shortages. And artists and labels who held off on releasing albums during the pandemic are all releasing LPs this year. Fair. Party Cannon would if they could.
Yeah.
Might. In Billboard, an anonymous music executive speculated that pressing plants around the globe have the capacity to manufacture 160 million albums a year. But to meet what the market wants, they'd have to make somewhere between 320 and 400 million. I don't think we're at the worst of it yet, said Whelan. I think alarm bells are going off, but this holiday season is going to be bad, and next year will probably be even worse. It'll keep compounding. That's pretty scary, isn't it?
And I have to jump in and say 320 to 400 million, it's not a lot. That's the worldwide demand.
But considering they're able to pump out 160 roughly at the moment, that's the capacity, then if the numbers are right, then we're looking at, the industry's looking at having to supply more than double of what it's capable of.
I just have to look at that and go, so pressing plants around the globe have a capacity to manufacture 160 million albums. So that is a representation, if you like, of how viable a business vinyl has been for the last 10, 20 years. Or there would be more pressing plants, right? Because it would be a smart business decision to have a pressing plant. And now you're in this weird situation where it's like, well, we could start a new pressing plant. We could, start a new pressing plant to meet this demand. But no one's going to do that because I think anyone would look at that and go, this bubble's probably going to burst in 2 years.
Yes, and that's a very dangerous investment. And
even then, like as I say, 160 million, the capacity to manufacture 160 million albums like last year, 160 million albums just isn't all that much money. Or isn't all that much product in the grand scheme of things. That's for all bands everywhere around the world. It's just not. I don't see that as being really really big numbers. So as you may be able to tell, I'm not anti-vinyl. I just think it's. I'm
going to throw a spanner on the works for you.
Go on.
Valves.
Valves are also a problem, yeah.
Valves are the vinyl of the touring musician. All the plants seem to be shutting. It's old technology. Getting a hold of them is quite hard. Demand is probably higher than supply. I don't want to say it's a dead medium, but given the number of people who no longer make valves, and that the ones that do are now charging premiums, for the most part, where does it end? Is it going to be the same as vinyl? Is it going to be that demand is well higher than supply can ever be, and creates an artificial rise in value? Or
I also just think that there is it's impossible to say this without it being a political statement, right?
Ooh.
And you'll enjoy this. Obviously, this doesn't apply in all cases, but in my experience, vinyl is in 2021. Vinyl is very much a class-based thing, so it appeals to different classes in different ways.
Okay.
Because it's an expensive and the reason I gather this data. So when Melissa plays in Girdwoods in a couple of weeks, right? I can assure you, I'm not going to bother bringing a box of vinyl down to try and sell. Yeah. Why?
Because it's Girdwoods.
Yeah. Whereas when we play Jazz Bar in Edinburgh, or when we play Swing in Glasgow, full of Tories. Absolutely full of Tories, right? We're going to take as much vinyl as we can carry. Why?
Because you'll sell them.
Because we'll sell them. Yeah. So I can't help but look at this and go, that to be fair, could be enough to sustain an industry. But I just
you say Tories, do you mean middle class people? Or
I mean
people
well-off people.
People with expendable income. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Swing and Jazz Bar not so much. Jazz Bar definitely has because it's an
eclectic clientele.
Jazz bar.
Yep.
And they are open like super late type thing.
Yep.
Whereas Swing in Glasgow is very much like we have tailored everything about our bar to attract a certain clientele.
Yep.
and yeah, because that clientele has money and they spend money type thing. Or same with like the Corinthian in Glasgow. Like, you know, if you're doing a gig in the Corinthian, you take vinyl to sell. But if you're doing a gig in Goodwoods, you don't take vinyl.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so. You maybe sell one or two, but I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
We did Sleazy's on Socky Hall Street, and you know, took vinyl and sold like 3 bits of vinyl at £10 a pop. Like, you know,
It's cheap.
that's very cheap. So yeah, I just think that, like, I guess maybe one of the reasons I'm kind of anti-vinyl is because in my mind it's a format that just isn't accessible to everybody, and I don't like this kind of exclusionary aspect. Like, I think it's really shitty for this message to be put out there that vinyl is the best way to listen to music, but you probably can't afford to.
But the people that are saying that are probably the same people that are trying to sell vinyl, so why are you bothered about it? Let people do their own discovering. Like, anybody that tells me that a dead medium is the best way to do something, I'm probably going to say, well, no, it's not, otherwise it wouldn't be fucking dead. There's a reason why technology overtakes other stuff.
Yeah.
It's either better quality, more accessible, or cheaper. And in this case, it's all three.
Yeah.
So, tell me again how vinyl's better.
Yeah.
You're alright, thanks. I'll just put my FLAC files on through my studio monitors.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Let's just do a quick, that's not really an update, but Transmit Glasgow, the Chemical Brothers set was so loud it could be heard 8 miles away in Renfrew.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And that stage show, look at that big laser head.
I'll bring it up for people.
You need to. Look at that. Now, for those of you that maybe don't understand just how loud that would have been, like, there's people been literally saying they're on the other end of the city and they could hear the full set. Glasgow Green sits pretty flat next to the city centre, just basically on the Clyde. And I would imagine a big part of that sound of that booming down there, depending how the stage was sitting, might have been that it was carried down the banks of the Clyde and down the waterway and basically reverberated its way through Glasgow, which is fucking minted. Plus it's the Chemical Brothers, it's cool as fuck, even if you're not into electric music. So, legendary electronic duo the Chemical Brothers brought Transmit to a close last night with a mesmerising show that saw festival goers turn Glasgow Green into the world's biggest dance floor as they lapped up the anthem-packed set. I'm not going to lie, I would have went to see the Chemical Brothers.
Well,
I could have.
you couldn't have seen them, but you could have heard them. So
That's true. I mean, I could have went and hid in somebody's building and heard them. That's true. Dreamlike visuals and dance anthems such as Hey Boy, Hey Girl and Galvanise has the 1,000 gathered on the Green to see their Sunday night headline slot in Raptures, and it seemed that other miles away from the festival site enjoyed the gig too. That's because, judging by Twitter, the gig was so loud that folk all over the city and further afield could hear the set clearly, including residents that live as far away as Renfrew, which is about 8 miles from Glasgow Green, as the crow flies. That's pretty fucking wild, genuinely, because I mean, Renfrew's not that close to Glasgow city centre.
well, it's 8 miles away.
But I just, even like, as the crow flies, you're then over the top of a lot of buildings and stuff, so you've got all of these avenues for the audio signal to get distracted and dispersed, and yet somehow 8 fucking miles away. You know what? The thing I love about this is the fact that it's a Glaswegian festival.
Yeah.
And they're just like, let's just take the piss. We'll just go as loud as we can, right?
You should probably do this, really, shouldn't we?
Are you going to bring it up in Google Maps?
No.
Oh, don't, because it's shite. It's actual clickbait shite. You've even brought the sun up. Right, who's in here to be booing Levi? I think this is the first time I'll ever ask for this and don't actually do it. Thumbs down. No, I'll give you thumbs up.
No, thumbs downs are fine. Thumbs downs are fine. It's still engagement.
Just not a good thing, surely.
No, it absolutely is. I can't remember what video I was watching recently, talking about engaging with videos. It was an Anne Reardon video, and she talked about if there's content that you don't like or content that you think is rubbish, don't even give it a thumbs down, because engagement still helps. There was a video that PewDiePie did years ago where he asked people to thumbs down the video. He wanted to get a record amount of thumbs down on a video. And it got tons and tons and tons of engagement, tons of views, and of course his channel's big anyway, the biggest. Well, it's
He survived saying the N word. That tells you how big he is.
Yeah,
to the point where it was on the news and shit, and yet he still continued to be one of the biggest YouTubers you can imagine.
At the time, his videos were getting, his daily videos were getting 30,000 views or whatever, and this one got 90,000. So just the engagement tells the algorithm that people will engage with this content to show it to more people type thing. So
I mean, at the end of the day, all the algorithm's interested in is adverts.
Yeah.
More people see adverts, more money from Google.
Yeah.
So, makes sense.
so why don't you like this?
It's just a wee boy patter, wee banger material.
Sure.
Feel free to click it, right?
Tell us the story then, Mike.
So, boo, the fucking sun! Anyway,
Yeah.
Transmit fan buries Buckfast. Name's Rory Barraclough, apparently. So, essentially what's happened is this young super spice lad has went and buried a bottle of Buckfast somewhere on the grounds that Transmit was going to be on sometime before then, and went and, like an absolute super mad lad, as our friend Count Dankula would say, managed to dig it back up so he could drink it on site. Oh, you're fucking hardcore, bro. Just, no. Why would you do that effort for a bottle of Buckfast? If you've got to drink something that tastes nice, fair enough. But that's going to be not only earthy, but fucking, like, room temperature, which is when Buckfast is at its worst. It tastes like fucking toenails and iron shavings.
Yeah, but there's nothing more inherently Scottish than avoiding having to buy something and doing whatever you can to get your Buckfast and drinking it at room temperature.
If it had been 4 cans of special and a wee bag of heroin, maybe. But that just screams to me like I'm a wee cool guy and I'm going to show my pals how cool I am. Don't care. Actual don't care. But I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah. And that wasn't for Transmit, was it? It was for Biffy. Was that right?
Was that right? No, it was.
It was Transmit. Sorry,
yeah.
Right, no bother.
Yeah. So yeah.
Let's stay him. What a wee dick.
Good work, son.
Speaking of the state of.
Yeah, let's move on to the main story.
Of the state of.
Only Born Music Man, Majesty 8-string. They made 100 of them. They have sold out.
Shocker. The first Majesty with a hardtail and the first 8-string. And it's fucking fan frets. Papa Perry shows the way.
It is
something else.
Yeah, it got a lot of flack for the way it looks.
I mean, it looks like a wonky shovel.
Oh.
You know what the worst part being? I bet it plays
the
great.
Headstock doesn't look right on that.
See, this I think is where a lot of brands don't get it right. See, the length of your headstock versus the shape of, or the angle of the nut has to be proportionate. Whereas if you go to the headstock close up,
oh dear,
you could get John Petrucci's actual face between the nut and the first machine head.
Yeah, that's actually very funny to me because I have seen a lot of brands, and I've criticised them for it, have the fretboard, continue to where it should be, and then the nut just goes on. And I've always said, that's dumb, that's lazy. But actually, now I see this, I'm like, that's dumb. It's definitely not lazy.
If they had found a way to jiggle the headstock shape and do a 4x4, so that 4 of the machine heads were on the bottom, closer to the short end treble side, and still giving the extended range on the top, then I think this would probably balance out a bit better, but otherwise ganting. What is that on the back? Is that trim pots for a EQ? Oh, is it for the piezo? Is it a piezo bridge?
Yeah, it's piezo.
You know what, man? Like, credit where credit's due. They've obviously done a really good job in trying to make the hardware fit the guitar and still fit the general aesthetic that the Petrucci Majesties have. I don't know, the bridge looks a wee bit funky for me. I think the kind of covered over bridge tray thing.
Yeah, it makes the bridge look massive, and obviously it doesn't need to be that big.
Yep.
There's no reason for it to be that big.
Unless their idea was that the bigger a base plate they've got, the better attachment to the body, the better chance of resonance and tone.
Maybe.
I mean, I, like I say, I don't want to slag Music Man for their build quality, because generally speaking, they are very measured. It's like the right end of a tuffle. It's engineering. Like Strandberg, it's engineering, but engineering in a clever way rather than just shoehorning something in for the sake of it. Says me that's now defending the 8-string multi-scale hardtail ugliest headstock in the world guitar for a guy that doesn't play 8 strings.
Yeah, well, I mean, you talk about defending it, it's probably the right thing to do, because I think the reaction to this missed the mark. I think the way people have acted, offended about a guitar being built is pretty fucking dumb. I don't dig the aesthetic of it. I think, when you look at the body, it's nice. I don't hate the Majesty shape.
No, they're cool guitars, but it doesn't suit the fan frets. It doesn't flow right.
Yeah, and also, the neck is so wide and the headstock is so so almost the same size as the neck, almost the same width as the neck, that the body ends up looking too small.
I think there's a lot of things that go into play with looking as if it's out of proportion. I think the Majesty itself already looks pretty, I don't know, unusually aerodynamic. It has very strange angles already. So to introduce another change like this, where the neck pickup sits against the fretboard, for example, that looks really nice. The bridge pickup has the same angle as the neck pickup. That doesn't look right compared to the bridge. Lots of wee daft aesthetic things throw it off for me.
Yeah.
And it's already, as we say, quite a funny shape. It's a bit like having, I would imagine if you took like an S series Ibanez and put fan frets on it or whatever, it's too rounded for it. It wouldn't really fit unless you adjusted the shape to fit the contours of the frets and the aesthetic of that fan. No else really I don't understand, right? See, with all that extra fucking land up here, take that fucking inlay at the first fret and put it on the headstock next to the Ernie Ball Music Man Majesty logo, pointing down the way so people can see it properly rather than it being
when you're playing. Yeah.
It just makes more sense. It means that there's not all that dead space there that doesn't look good. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, it doesn't look good. It looks stupid. Right? But then you're also eliminating the fact there's a big tramp stamp on the first fret.
And of course, the problem with that tramp stamp on the first fret is...
I say tramp stamp, right? Like, I've adopted that pattern for you and Kendall quite clearly. It doesn't actually offend me that much. I had the DV8R with a big 8 ball on the first fret. It's not that bad. I just think it'd be a much better use aesthetically for this guitar to have that in the headstock.
Also, just aesthetically speaking, you have angled fret, angled nut, but then this is lined up as though you don't have those things.
And it also points down the guitar rather than at the angle that people are going to be looking at it, which is sideways.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to throw some. I'm gonna have to throw some shade here. They've got the parallel fret at the 12th fret, the straight fret at the 12th fret, and I just don't think that's the right placement for the straight fret on a fan fret.
What is the scale lengths on it? Because that will make a difference too. I think that's where the big concerns or the big questions come into. 25.5 inch to a 27. Okay, I think 27 is too short for an 8-string personally. But I always find that the Music Man guitars they're designed quite small, shorter scale. They certainly feel that way. They feel a lot dinkier than a lot of other brands.
It's just so for anyone that hasn't put the consideration into this, where that straight fret sits on the guitar impacts all of the other frets around it significantly. So if you have this straight fret here, by the time you get down to the first fret, that fret is so angled that it doesn't lead to comfortable playing down here.
See, I don't think that looks too bad. I think in terms of aesthetics, it's not too far off even the oranges behind us.
Yeah, but the straight fret on these is what, 9th?
And it's a 27.5 inch scale rather than 27. So you get an extra half inch as well to play with.
8th by the looks of things. Yeah.
Don't give away Perry's secrets, he'll kill you.
Now, of course, there is another thing to consider with this, and that is...
John will never play it.
No, I mean, where you have your straight fret, if you have it too far up the neck, then the first fret angles too far and it looks...
that was Ibanez's problem, wasn't it?
Yeah. But when you start moving it down the neck, well, then your frets higher up start to angle a little bit more extreme than they need to. But that's not that much of an issue because as you move up the neck of the guitar, you don't tend to play on the low strings. So accessing these frets down here is not actually as nearly as important as being able to access these.
But
so more extreme fan up here doesn't matter all that much, whereas down here you are absolutely going to be playing this low end.
Yep. I think that's the first fret's the kind of the killer for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I've said to anyone that's asked about the fan fret stuff as well. It's like after 5-10 minutes you'll find that you don't even notice it except when you're maybe doing like a first fret bar chord.
Yeah.
Because your hand's at a bit more of an angle. But it still fits naturally based on how your arm sits.
But saying this, and I want to put emphasis on this, you do get this talk of people saying, well, fan frets make sense because your fingers open up this way. And I'm sure I've done this on the podcast before. Sure, your hand does open up this way, but your hand doesn't. You don't have strength with your fingers pushing forward like this compared to when your finger is straight like this. Strength in the hand is like this, not like this. Your ability to apply pressure with your fingers stretched out versus your ability to apply pressure with your fingers when they're straight
Tendons make all the difference.
is significant. So saying, oh yeah, well we've angled the frets in a way so when your fingers, you've opened your hand up, you can get a nice comfortable bar chord here. I'm not saying that you don't have the strength to play a bar with your finger stretched out like that. You do, but you are putting unnecessary strain on the finger, which doesn't go into ergonomics.
Yes.
So, as I keep saying, I'm really, really impressed with the Rusty Cooley straight bridge fanning towards the nut, and the same with the
6.5 to 25.5 maybe.
The Evertune on the Ormsby's as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm slightly shorter fan, but as you say, straight from the bridge.
Yeah. But I guess that's another way to consider it, right? Based on the thing we're talking about, where that straight fret is.
Mm-hmm.
When you move that straight fret all the way down to the bridge, if you were to then imagine going for a 27 on the bass side and a 25.5, I would love for somebody to mock this up. I should ask Perry to do this because I'm sure he's got the tools to do this. I wonder how extreme that fan would be on that first fret if the bridge was the straight point. It would you just see how ridiculous this could get if you wanted it to.
Yeah. You know what? I actually don't think it's a 27-inch that's on the Rusty. I think it's the same as the Dino, which is 25.5 to 26.2 maybe.
I have to say, looking at this Majesty, it would look infinitely better if it was headless. I really do think that if you cut that headstock off, it would look a lot better.
I can see that.
I in fact, can I do this?
You're going to Photoshop it and mock it, cut it off?
I don't know about photoshopping because I don't have I can't Photoshop things.
Have you got GIMP?
No. Oh no, I didn't mean to open that.
No, we don't want to open that.
I want to open that.
There's Levi just fucking
Ross
getting
Campbell.
yourself struck off the
That's
tube.
right, there's no audio. No, paint, mate, paint.
Paint 3D's pretty good, by the way.
Yeah?
It's not bad.
Right, so if I bring this up,
Mm-hmm.
like this,
Screen and face, yep.
Nope. Yeah, just put a big X through it.
Removed by a blind man. Aye? Aye? Really? Very much aye?
Looks much better. If we do that.
Who wore it better?
Yeah, we need to amble in this motherfucker. That looks better. That looks better.
Society has moved past the need for headstocks.
And of course, the bridge is so big that you could easily design it to have tuners in it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's do it this side as well.
Keep the volume. Okay.
There you go, John. Fixed it for you. Fixed it.
Or the Ball family.
Yeah.
We'll take payment and money. Thanks.
Money. No one gives us money.
Do you accept cash?
£3,186.43p.
Plus shipping.
43 pence.
And
they
it's
only
coming
made 100
directly
of them.
from Ernie Ball.
Yes.
So fair play. You know what I mean? If there's only 100 of them, there is
Yeah.
every chance that these will go up against like the Ball family reserves. Like the
they'll be really well made. Yeah.
yeah, like as good as it gets when it comes to them. And
And
like
collector's items.
yes, and like I said, there hasn't been many, if any, Ernie Ball guitars I've played that I haven't liked. They might not be to my taste, but they just feel good in their hands. I don't know, like they're well made. QC's right. They play well. They're well designed. It's the same as Strandberg. It might not be my cuppa, but can't knock the engineering behind them and the craftsmanship for the most part. I know Strandberg have kind of been up and down with that depending on what factories they've been in.
Though, saying that, £3,186. If you're in the market for an 8-string guitar, got a lovely Mayonnaise hanging on my wall with an Evertune in it. That
Used to
I'll
have
do for less than half the price of that.
Used to have the best inlay, but Levi had it removed.
No, I didn't have it.
Oh no,
removed.
sorry,
It
the
was
person before it removed.
before I even got it.
I remember when you got the guitar, I'm like, that looks exactly like this one, and you went, yep, it is.
Yeah. And to be fair, the work that has been done on it is incredible.
Absolutely, man. John Shuker did some
No,
job with that.
I don't
Evertune.
mean on the Evertune. I mean whoever removed that inlay.
Oh yeah, that too as well.
They stripped, by the looks of things, they completely stripped out the ebony board, on the 12th fret, removed it, and then found a piece of ebony that would slot in there that you cannot fucking tell is from a different cut of wood.
Absolutely.
So yeah, really, really good job on that.
Any idea who done that?
No.
No.
Right, so that is actually us. There's nothing really more to say.
Have we powered through an episode already? Jeez, oh.
We have. Why are UPS sending me stuff?
Ooh.
Amazon. Oh, okay, cool. My heated blanket. How exciting.
He's an old man, isn't he?
How Tory is that?
An old Tory.
There's just been so many nights where it's been like, wow, it's quite chilly in here.
Put the fucking heating on then.
Quite chilly. Well,
You're
I know where
so-
you're coming from. No, like a heated blanket will cost more than putting the heating on. But will it? You put the heating on and you're heating up the air in the room, whereas you put a heated blanket on, you're just heating yourself up, and the air under the covers.
But it's a waste of money.
Sorry, I should say a heated mattress topper, not a heated blanket.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's where I'm at. A hot water bottle and a blanket does the job.
It
does though. Hot water bottle.
Hot water bottles.
Hot water bottle.
Purple burgle alarm.
Purple burgle alarm.
Purple burgle alarm.
Purple burgle alarm.
Yeah, cool. So, good show, guys. Did you know? This show is brought to you by our friends over at Ormsby Guitars. We want to remind you guys that there is still time to get involved in the upcoming Run 16 guitars. Those include these incredible hypes available in 5 new colours. That Dragon Burst is absolutely stunning. You can also get your hands on one of the Metal X's, again available in a range of finishes. My personal pick has to be these headless Vs, absolutely outrageously cool. Imagine one of those in an 8-string, I absolutely love these. And finally, the Ando San signature model, available in 6, 7 and 8-string availability. Go and check them out at Ormsby's website right now. This show is also brought to you by our friends over at Rev Amplification, a one-stop shop for all of your tonal needs. Head on over to their website to check out their range of lunchbox amplifiers, both the D20 and G20, 20-watt amplifiers with built-in 2-notes torpedo technology so you can record direct into your computer. If that doesn't suit, you can also check out one of their highly popular G2, 3 and 4 pedals, giving you that trademark Rev tone in a stomp box. Incredible tones, I use these myself. And finally, you may notice in the back of these videos a Rev Generator 120, an absolute masterclass in modern electric guitar tones. Check it out at their site now. So as always, a huge thanks to our friends and family over at both Ormsby Guitars, Rev Amplification, and our friends over at VPix. Please do go and check them out. We're going to head and record a bonus episode now where we're going to listen to Megadeth's Rust in Peace. Mike says he hasn't listened to it in a long time, but I would imagine you've probably listened to it more recently than you'd listened to Master of Puppets.
Neither, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, like if I'm in the mood to listen to Megadeth or a bit of thrash or whatever, it probably would be Rust in Peace that would go on.
Yeah.
But as of recent, I've kind of just been stuck in the same albums, which has been listening to Sleep Token Sundowning and their new tune, which Kieran sent me an absolute belter a comment. It sounds like Imogen Heap, and he's like, check this out, it's Imogen Sleep. Because it sounds like hide and seek. It's just like a vocoder with a vocal. Really just that, a bit of Leprous and Protest the Hero, I think is basically a bit what's been on my playlist. And some rap.
I'm in a strange place with music at the moment.
What you listen to?
Go to the gym and I'm like, right, I need to find some heavy music to put on. And then I'm like,
Five Finger Death Punch.
I don't know what. No, definitely not. As much as I love Andy, I'm never going to listen to Five Finger Death Punch.
Cruel.
I don't like them.
That's fair.
I just can't find anything that I look at and go, you know what? Yeah, I fancy listening to that. And that annoys me because gym is heavy music place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I'm punching fuck out of a bag or lifting things, I want loud, heavy music on.
Put Iowa on.
But what?
Put Iowa on. Iowa Slipknot.
Oh, Iowa. Sorry. Iowa, yeah.
Iowa, yeah.
Sure.
Fuck up, prick.
To be fair, there was a week, maybe 2 week period where that was an album I was going to. But but I guess the point that I'm making is it just shows how far I've moved away from metal, because the things that I do put on, when I can find something to put on, they're nostalgia albums. Yeah, I'll even go for a fucking Disturbed album, like an old Disturbed album over.
I would assume that Dying Fetus would be fucking tremendous in the gym.
No.
And by extension, Misery Index.
Can he get on board with the vocals? So. And sometimes I want to listen to things like Era and all the modern gent things.
Stuff that only good for the
Phil
gym.
Yata.
Vilhjarta.
Yeah.
Vilhjarta.
Because I just want things that are just heavy, like just really
The
low,
Killing
and,
Gods
low and heavy.
by Misery Index. That is a very heavy
Is it
album.
going to have like grunty vocals?
Yes.
Yeah, no thanks.
Fucking poser.
I know.
I want to go to the
no,
gym,
I'm
but I
not.
want to listen to love ballads. Prick.
So that's what it's been. Destiny's Child. No.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
You deadlift.
I've had a lot of Mariah on in the house actually.
She's fucking tremendous, isn't she? She was the whistle queen.
So yeah, there's that. Mike, tell people to go and check out our bonus episode and buy stuff and all of that stuff. You know the routine. Tell them.
Yes, let's get it done. So, GsolesFanMail@gmail.com. First of all, get some emails in, please. Buy me a coffee. The link is in the description below. You can either subscribe and you'll get access to the bonus episodes. You can send us a one-off if you'd like to. And on top of that, you don't even need to do that because there's no paywall here. If you want to just join us and join the Monday Night Guitar Geek Club, you know where we're at. If you would like to rep some stuff and get something back in return for if you want to join our community and help support us again, we also have the Teespring. Apparently we've had a few people buy some teas from Teespring,
No,
which is...
no, we're not.
Nah, is it just a wee glitch?
No, so I never withdraw the money from Teespring.
Right.
When the hosting comes out, I withdraw the money.
I
So,
get you, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And Big Craig McCulloch was messaging me the other day. He's been repping his I Am Not a Lawyer t-shirt. Yeah. So go on there, have a wee nosy, see what you think. If you want to support us, brilliant. If you don't, doesn't matter. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbours Doug. Phone the police on us if you want. Tell them to come and watch the episode on a Monday. We'll be here. Well, maybe not actually be working tomorrow. Are you about? You got something on
what, in the evening?
for Guitar Geek Club?
I'll be at Melissa's gig. A rider room at 10:30, 11. So I do make I make
Aye.
it. Yeah.
I seem to be falling into like the worst times. I'm either working at the weekends or working on Mondays, which is kind of fucking it.
I'll be powering down the motorway towards Glasgow with the podcast on.
That's
on my-
admission of guilt. You want to shut up,
It's for Melissa because she sat next to me.
but you're not allowed to have anything like that on your
Well, it's
dash
like-
while you're
It's
driving.
like her having it in her hand.
If she's holding it, that's different.
Well, she does have to essentially hold it because she reads comments and I tell her what to.
So
respond
Melissa's going to be watching it with you there in spirit.
Yeah.
Don't incriminate yourself, big man. We're just talking about I Am Not a Lawyer, and there's you going, yeah, I just watched YouTube on my phone while I'm driving. You'll get fucked for that, bud. Fucked.
to. I mean, there's plenty of admissions of guilt on this podcast, and they're not.
Aye, that's fair. That's
to
fair.
your extracurricular activities.
I don't have any extracurricular activities. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mike, until next time.
Please don't phone the police. Please don't.
420 blaze it.
Who? Where?